Hello and welcome to the sixth episode of the Bangers and Clangers podcast. I'm your host, Pez. Lovely to be with you. Hope you're having a banging day. And man, what a EU regional it was. Heaps to talk about. We're going to talk all things NA and OCE predictions and also what happened in EU. And we're going to cover, it's coming up to the major. We need to know rankings. We need to know who's there, who's not in the other regions. So we'll go over all the teams' rankings and see who can make it in the last qual. So let's get into it.
Watch it! Love it! You're all...
All right. First up, we have the banger and clanger of the week. So, firstly, we have the banger. I'm going to give it to Drelly's Corner Psycho in. Was the grand? No, it was against Juicy, which is Gentlemates. It was against Gentlemates. That was an unreal shot. Just an absolute clip and a half from his own corner, smashes it into the corner, then reads it upside down. I think he sent it like 160 Ks or something ridiculous off his car towards the net. And for Clanger of the Week, we've got Long Red Cordial. I don't know what's happened, but they're not in this open qual this week for. Can I find my words? For OCE, they did not go into it as a team. So Creed was with someone else. I don't know about Hawk and Spy Doge. I think they might have disbanded, but I'm not 100% sure. But if they did, that is a clanger because they lost out top 8 to a team called Shooting, Wolf Dick, Juck, and Keckles. And let's be honest, probably shouldn't have lost that one. So I don't know if they're tilted. I don't know what's going on, if they're just waiting until next split to go again. But yeah, a bit of a clanger there. But now, let's introduce back Moldy. Moldy, how are you going?
I'm good. Good to be back.
It is
Glad-
it is good to be back.
Yeah, ready to talk all things Rocket League.
Did you watch the EU on the weekend?
I did. And wowee.
Yeah.
What a... all I'm going to say is that my pick of Sa was absolutely brilliant.
It was pretty brilliant. I'm not going to lie.
It was, if they... Look, they to Magnifico. Fair play, Magnifico. But,
Yeah,
if they run that series again, they're going the whole way. I'm just putting it out there.
absolutely. And, you did have KC in second. You said Sa was a joke, so I'll give it to you. You picked KC. I actually picked Vitality to win last qual. That didn't go so good for me.
It didn't go well for either of us. I still had them in as second, probably.
And
them
getting
they bombed out
swept.
a little bit.
Yeah, them getting swept by KC was a bit of a eye-opener into, how much coaching can actually do. Farah, I've been talking about it for the last few weeks, but I reckon I'm on the money. I reckon they're starting to really show, and they'll lead into some of my predictions later as well. I'm going to stick with this coaching theme because I reckon I'm hitting the nail on the head. This is the next phase of Rocket League.
Yeah.
But first on the agenda, let's have a look into what teams from each region are fighting for major spots, shall we? Where am I? 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get this on the screen for everyone to see. Okay. Here we go. Now we have our ranking. What? I think... Surely that's a glitch from Liquipedia. Thank you. That's much better, Liquipedia. Throwing. So, fighting in Europe for the next one is, I guess you could say Gentlemates. I think Carmine and BDS are pretty locked in, but Gentlemates, Magnifico, Team Vitality, Oxygen Esports, Endpoint. I don't know if you could say Belagol are fighting for it.
Trust me, Belagol are doing it. They're going all the way. They're in the running. Watch out for Belagol.
Yeah, I mean, Endpoint's kind of the last team there I see that can win it all potentially. Like, and when I say potentially, I mean like they'd have to have the biggest honeymoon run of all time. But
Mm.
uh, you know, who do you think? Just a quick insight. Who do you think who's
Might be
favorites
able
for
to do it.
you?
A lot of people have been hating on Vitality, and I think it's fair because they haven't been playing well,
Mm,
especially against KC. But that matchup that they got was very tough. I don't expect they'll get that matchup again,
especially in quarters,
and
yeah.
especially in quarters. I think ultimately they're in that top four still for me. So
Yeah.
they should make it. They should if they make top four, they make major unless Magnifico or Oxygen do something crazy. Um,
And obviously in NA we have M80, OG, Pirates of the Boat, Space Station Game. There's a whole lot of teams in contention we'll talk
whole
about
lot of
very
them.
soon. And also in
Yeah,
OC, there's you got your kind of top five there. I would say that are in contention. We'll get to those predictions soon. But
yeah.
over in Sam, it's kind of a three-way battle here.
It is. So Ninjas in Pajamas coming in at that third spot, challenging the juggernauts that are Complexity and Furia at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's real tight between those three teams. Ninjas in Pajamas, they lost to Furia, I think in seven, so it's very close. They're not far off
Mm.
it in
No,
Sam, so that
they're
should be
definitely keeping
very
up the pace.
yeah, that is going to be spicy over the weekend because any three of those teams could make it. Furia could even drop out if they lose in
In
quarters. You know,
that's a crazy concept.
it's a crazy.
And obviously, Crew kind of through. They didn't make it through the Swiss.
No, if they had, they would be definitely in contention as well.
Yeah, it would be a four-way running, but they're gonna have to wait. I think Mina's pretty set in stone.
Yeah, it looks like it. I thought going in this season, Twisted Minds were going to be that
Mm.
third player in Mina, but they haven't performed as well as they've wanted.
I think there's a lot of
Um,
talent as well, mate.
in general,
That's
yeah, there
coming up,
is.
and in general. So not every series is as easy as it looks, but Team
No,
Falcons and Rule One, they've got that
they look locked in.
world class experience and been playing against the best, so they can just kind of get it done.
Yeah, interesting. They'll first verse each other in the first round of Swiss, which is going to
Oh,
be a
do they?
spicy mashup. Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Who
they
dropped
do.
to lowers?
I couldn't. I think it was Raw One from memory.
Yeah, okay. Very interesting. APAC, two-way battle. Gaming Gladiators have brought it back uh, against Elevate.
Yeah, it's gonna come down to the wire between these two teams. Should
Who do
be
you have
interesting.
making it? Like, if that's a final, best of seven, who's winning that?
Oh, wow.
Let's have a look at the team. So Elevate, you got LCT, Kevin, and
My man
Speaks.
Kevin.
So like that's like the OG. They're like the OGs. And then Maxu, Virtuoso, and Realize. They're kind of both OGs to be honest, but they're both good teams.
They're both very good teams. I lean towards Gaming Gladiators, considering what do you call it, Virtuoso and what do you call it, Realize did
Yeah,
last season on Elevate. I think they'll. I don't know. My gut feeling is to go with them.
yeah. I think they've got the clutch source too. LCT. I don't know. He seems to be up and down for me, and his mental seems a bit off. So I think Gaming Gladiators for me as well to take that out,
Yep.
but we'll have to wait and see. And Limitless charging ahead, they don't look like they're going to stop.
No, which I think is good for that region.
It
I
is.
think if an EU team was to win that region, it would be really really bad
Yeah.
for SSA. So I'm glad Limitless are showing that they've still got it, and I'm excited to see them on major. Should be great.
Yeah, it should
Hopefully.
be. They might even get a win, maybe against one of the APAC teams
Oh,
in
that
last
would
round of
be
Swiss or
huge.
something.
That would be huge.
Yeah. Okay. Next on the agenda is, let me just get back to menu. There we go. What mechanics are going to be the new meta, Moldy, in your opinion? So we got, these ceiling pitches, different dashes coming out. What's the future of Rocket League?
The future of Rocket League. Well, I think recently there's been a lot of spotlight on dashes in particular. So we have to look at players like Dark or even apparently Jack, who was doing zap dashes first in the RLCS.
Yep.
So they're definitely going to be, they're just constantly evolving, and players are going to be constantly wave dashing as much as possible. If anyone hasn't already, check out Fear's videos on Dark. It's absolutely crazy as to how much this man is wave dashing
Yep.
in his games. That gives you a good idea of what the future of Rocket League is going to be like. I definitely think recently people have been talking a lot about kickoffs, and sure, that's not
Yeah.
necessarily a mechanic, but it's certainly something that plays into the game
It's
and
very
is becoming
integral.
more and more prominent. And we've talked about it on previous episodes here. It literally was the reason that multiple teams like Vitality a couple weeks ago lost that there's most of their matches. They weren't strong enough on those kickoffs, and there was so many. The Carmine Corp double kickoff, all of this, it's becoming huge, and we've been talking about it for years. Johnny Boy brought this all up, and I think definitely kickoffs are the future of Rocket League.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, kickoffs is definitely a big one that I didn't think about in terms of. I definitely would agree with you. I would call it a mechanic. It's more of a team mechanic, but it is definitely an integral part of the game and can give you multiple advantages throughout a series and, mentally and, on the scoreboard sometimes. So, no, that's brilliant. Oh no, I'm gonna butcher this name because I should have read this. Oh, do you know where the major's going before I try?
Copenhagen.
Copenhagen, that's it. Copenhagen.
Copenhagen.
The
Yes.
Royal Arena. And it is Blast time to shine. What do you think they're going to put a good product? I'm really excited to see what they do with the major.
I'm very curious. A lot of people have been very skeptical. They've said that this arena is a lot smaller than other arenas, but then I've also heard stuff about the crowd capacity isn't that much. It's basically the same as the other majors we've had. So I'm not sure about that. But I'm just curious to see how Blast presents it all,
Yeah.
because obviously it's their first major. So yeah, I'm curious, just like you. I hope it's great.
Now, I've got a few photos here of the Royal Arena, and it looks like pretty big. I think the capacity, though, is when they're all standing on the ground as well, which obviously Rocket League aren't going to have. They like having that big
Yeah, of
space
course.
space on the ground. Kind of like this a little bit, maybe. But I don't know. I just seen this one. They have is that a swimming pool? Am I?
In the middle. I'm not sure about that.
I'm pretty sure it's a swimming pool. Now I don't know how they pulled that off. That
It
actually
is. Look at that.
that anyway, I'm confused. But we're playing Rocket League underwater this major, and I'm very excited.
Yeah.
So I think the arena looks great. I think you know I think the Blast are going to do a good job. I'm excited. I'm optimistic, and we'll see where it takes us. But yeah, I'm going to be watching. Trying to watch as much as I can of it. That's for sure.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
All right, some predictions coming up, but firstly, let's get into our player spotlight, which is going to be First Killer. Now, just moves on to Gen G. Hasn't quite had the start that he was looking for, with a loss to G2 in the finals in the first regional, and then falling a bit short in the second. But we know this man. We know he's world class. He has carried teams in the past that are a lot less quality than Appjack and Chronic, and boy, I think they can do some damage at the first major. They're just warming into it, ladies and gentlemen. First Killer, Appjack has talked about him, said he's just the best to play with. It doesn't matter if you're having an off series, because First Killer, FK, he just does what he does. He's always putting pressure on. He's always making teams double think themselves in defense, double committing, fakes. He's got it all. He's got the whole arsenal, and it's well equipped and ready to go. What do you think, Moldy, about First Killer? Do you think that this major is his time to shine?
I think there's a lot of pressure on him, for sure.
Mm,
He definitely knows that the last time he was on major with FaZe Clan that he did not perform how he wanted to, and that team obviously bombed out,
Yep.
and he's obviously kind of been that villain for a lot of people on phase in the past, at least on majors.
Yep.
So he obviously is now obviously being on a new team. He wants to prove himself, but I think he'll receive a little more love this time round.
Being on Gen
And
G, yeah, definitely.
yeah, I think the crowd will show him a bit more love, and I think because of that, he'll actually perform better on land for sure. Definitely.
I think he's got more solid teammates around him too, and a solid structure. I know on
Absolutely.
FaZe was obviously a great team, but I feel like, you know, teammates like Sipical and Mist and AJ, they're good. They're good teammates, but I think, you know, Abjack and Chronic are just a class above, and they've proved that in the past too.
Yeah, and the circumstances with FaZe at that point, like missed on
Low
barely any
hours,
hours.
yeah.
It was just kind of like, nah, it wasn't it at all.
Mm. Well, hopefully fourth killer can turn back into first killer on LAN. That would be very cool to see. But it's a big ask. Obviously, they got to defeat Europe, which is hard for them.
Yeah, bit
But
hard.
let's move into OCE and Torsos's big call. Did you see this at all? Did you hear
I
about
did
this?
not see this. You're gonna have to explain this to me. I'm
Torsos
curious.
reckons and is telling the world that OCE are back.
OC are back.
We're back
Look,
and we're in contention at the
we're in
majors.
contention. Contention to win it all.
Maybe not win it all. I think like
Top
top
eight. Top
top
eight.
top eight. Yeah, I think top eight.
Okay. OC's back. Look, I don't want to be that guy, but do we say this every season?
That's the first thing I thought too. We say it's like Sid from Isaac. We do this every year.
Yeah, no. Look, I personally, I've been following the bubble scene. I've been talking to players, and this is the one of the better years, certainly in terms of the overall vibe in OCE. There's definitely everybody's kind of acknowledged that last season was not good enough at all, and so the work ethic has definitely gone up. As to whether they'll translate to a top eight internationally, I'm not sure. We'll have
Yeah,
to see. We'll have to see how good power really is.
yeah.
Um, but hey, it'd be cool. But I like it. I like the confidence. I can respect that.
I like the confidence too, but I feel like he's always got confidence. Torsos has always
That's
got
true.
that confidence. So let's jump into OCE's ins and outs for the third open qualifier. Let me just get myself set up here. Okay. All right. Let's have a look. Who's in and who's out? Well, obviously Young Money Clan. Why is there a second Young Money Clan? What is going
Yeah,
on here? Shu,
you
Tiger,
gotta
and Kachow. I feel like they're an old roster.
you gotta come up with an original name. Come on,
I know that
come
is
on.
pretty poor. That is pretty poor.
Nah.
Unless they're in cahoots or something, that's pretty poor. But they're in. Say sorry, eliminated. They didn't make it through.
Mm,
NBN. I mean, it's OCE. Like we just have new faces every open qual.
yeah.
So
No. Former Tiki Taka now Fizz 6 as well,
yeah,
which is a big omission for a lot of people.
yeah. I think with all these newer teams coming in to this qualifying, I think it's pretty clear cut who's going to be making at least the top 10.
Top 8, yeah, top 8, top 10.
Yeah.
Yep.
Scrims
Well,
World make it back in, which is good to see.
yeah, no, they definitely should have made it last time, so good to see them back.
Shooting staying in. Yeah, Tiki Taka, Long Red Cordial disbanded. Warm Creed now warm. So what do you think's going on there? What is actually happening?
I could not tell you. I don't know why. It's obviously something internal. But that team was challenging, was getting top eights, so
Yeah.
it's very surprising to see.
Do you think maybe they're just going, well, we can't make the major. Let's just regain and go again next split,
Let's
or
just
is
try
it?
something different. Get a qualifier in us before next split, possibly. Who knows? Who
But
knows?
you still like can get points for worlds, so it is a bit odd.
It is strange, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not sure.
But yeah, that's the teams going into open quali. I always call them regionals now. Open qualifier 3,
Yeah, it's so hard. I mix it up as well all the
and
time.
And now we're going to jump into our predictions. So at 16th, I have NBN, which is Nasty's team. And you've got Nick Nat. I think
Big neck. Yes.
I think we can kind of move through a few of these because, like we said, qualifying teams, they seem to chop in and out. These are just a couple of
Yeah.
them because I've got
And a lot of these
Nick Nat
guys are
both.
new guys as well, and they definitely that like a bunch of them don't have RLCS experience before. So
Yeah.
we can skip through these.
Yeah, exactly. TWC, I think they're decent, but you got them at 14th. I think you're underrating them a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
You reckon?
I think you're not giving them enough credit. I think they're a good team. I mean, Panzer, Aziz, and Matro. They've made every open qual.
They have.
They've made every Swiss. So you don't think they're learning? You think there's just still bugging
I
out?
think they're learning, but I've given them a game there. I've given them a game,
Yeah.
and last time they didn't get a game. No, they did not. Remember? No, they did not.
That's fair. So
They came close though, so I'm upgrading them. I'm giving them a win.
okay.
But I think they're just going to run into that top 10ish, and they're not going to win, in my opinion.
And then we've got Warm and NTR. I've kind of got them in the same spot too.
Yep.
What do you think about Warm? We're giving him a game just because Creed, yeah? Is that what
Yeah,
we're thinking?
that's literally the only reason.
The Creed buff, yeah. They have to win
Creed
one.
buff.
They're going to win one series with Creed, right? He's going to pop off.
He's not having an 0-3. There's no way.
Nah, he is a beast and he deserves to be on a good team. He's on the grind. Is he 17 now? Maybe he's still pretty young. Maybe he's 16.
Yeah, around then.
But he is definitely an up-and-comer in OC to watch out for. Hopefully in Split 2. I think Spidoge and Hawk might have... We need to get we need to have someone on the side on Twitter or something. Like, maybe they retired. Yeah. Who knows? Because I think Hawk has retired like 3 times and then he keeps coming back. Like, make up your mind, buddy. Are you going to grind or not?
Yeah, right.
And then we got Young Money Clan in at 11 for the both of us.
Yep.
We're a little bit different on That's Crazy. I mean, you got him winning 2 series.
Yep.
I've got him winning 1. So what's your thoughts there? Is that an upgrade or is that roughly where they've been sitting? You just think that
it's an upgrade on how they did last time. That's
yeah.
for sure. What was last time? They finished 12th last time.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm upgrading them is because a lot of those teams that they were losing to last time are not in, like a Long Red Cordial or a Tiki Taka. Are not in it now. They're not in it now. Yeah. So I think That's Crazy have less competition in terms of pushing up into that 9th, 10th, 11th bracket.
And they're a very solid team.
And they're a solid team. So that's why I'll put them up there. Do I think they'll make top 8? No. But I think they benefit from a bunch of these other teams not qualifying.
Yeah. And I've kind of gone similar to your That's Crazy, but I've gone with TWC actually playing that role. I think they can definitely win a few games in that kind of regard as well. I've got Shooting at 9. We both have Shooting at 9.
We do.
So just missing out. They obviously just made it. What a series that was. Did you watch that live?
I did not watch that live, unfortunately. I heard lots of people talking.
Yeah,
that was great.
It was very hype. It was very, very hype. All the boys that were there watching, they weren't really casting. It was kind of more like a Discord group chat watching the game with some more people watching the game from stream. But it was pretty hype, and obviously Wolftick, Kekels, and Jock have been working really hard. So congratulations to them. Honestly, we've done the same thing. So we've got Shooting at 9 and Scrims World at 8. That could easily be flipped either way, I think.
Very easily.
But
it's kind of hard to tell where Scrims is gonna place because they obviously missed the last original completely.
Yeah, they missed, and then they didn't make it out of Swiss the first time either. But
yeah, that's true. So it's kind of hard because we know they're a good team.
Well, they got Zenuous.
They haven't. Yeah, they haven't actually proven it yet, or at least in the RLCS. So I think they'll just sneak in. I think they'll have a good run. Yeah, that's my feeling.
Well, I hope so because it'd be good to see Matthew play a bit better in this main event than last time. And
Absolutely.
you could definitely. I watched all the series for that first one in the Swiss, and you could just tell he was a bit nervous, bit on edge. Few things he was getting beat to where he could have just been faking that kind of stuff. So hopefully
Yeah.
the nerves are a bit settled and they look at these other teams and go, this is very winnable, and they can kind of cruise through, I guess, as
Yep.
as cruisy as you can make it. So now we get into the interesting part. We've gone the same actually on the last three here. So the
Oh
bus
wow.
in 7.
Yep. The bus have been they were in line with Tiki Taka and Long Ray Cordial, and they've outlasted both those teams, and so as a result, they're going to make top 8 again.
Yeah,
They obviously benefit from not having to compete with those two other teams. So I think they should, and they've made top 8s. So I think they'll do it again. They're a strong team.
they are a strong team. They could definitely even take a surprising game off. I would say not of anyone. Probably KCP Power and Cuckers Minions are the
I
ones.
think they could go like maybe take two
They could
two
take
games off
games,
Ground
but I
Zero or
think
Gremlins.
they could take a series off Gremlins or Ground Zero, I reckon, if they were on.
Possibly.
But I
If
don't
they were
think they
really
could take
on.
the series against like KCP Power, Cuckers Minions. I think they're a
No,
bit too
they're
strong.
not quite there yet.
But it's good to see, especially Fades playing at this level now, because him getting this experience is just good for his career all round. So
Absolutely.
very happy for him. Gremlins in at number 6 for me, and you have Ground Zero falling off a little bit.
Yeah, I think they did very well last regional. I think long term they're a good team, but
Yep.
I think they'll run into a top team, or they'll just. I don't think they'll do as well this regional. I don't know. It's a bit of a gut feeling for me.
Yeah. The Gremlins for me, it's kind of the same. I just think that as solid as they are, Caleb, Cobo, and Vortex, they've just got a bit too many holes that the
Yep.
higher teams, especially when they're fighting for a major spot, they're gonna get exploited, because when it comes down to it, those Chiefs or GZ or KCP, they're not gonna let anything go. Whereas I think there's just a few more holes in the Gremlins games than those teams above them.
Yeah, and they're also when they're playing those top teams, they're not necessarily in control for the entire series.
Yeah.
Having to play up to their level,
Yes.
whereas they're not dictating the
And they're
series
doing a really good
necessarily.
job of that, actually.
They're doing a great
They've
job of
taken a
it.
series of Chiefs, they've taken a series of Cuckers Minions in best of sevens, so they're doing a fantastic job of it. And I think they're playing amazing Rocket League. But yeah, like I said, coming into this third and final qual, when it's all on the line, I think some of those teams just have a bit more class.
Yeah, definitely.
So in fifth, I've got Chiefs and you've got Gremlins. So these are the last teams to kind of lose in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, basically just reiterating what you're saying there with the Gremlins. They're that team that are always playing up, and I don't necessarily think they can always do that, at least long term. So I don't see them necessarily making that top 4, at least when everything's on the line.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. The Chiefs losing in quarters for me.
Interesting.
I just think that the other 4 teams are stronger. GZ, KCP, Power, Cuckers Minions. As peak as Super Locky and Gus can be, the team dynamic doesn't work, and when you get into best of sevens, same kind of deal with the Gremlins. There's not enough connect there. Other teams that are well organized and well formed will be able to beat that. So that's why I got them losing in the quarters like they have previously as well. Even though they made the finals last one, I feel like they got kind of a Mickey run through, if that makes sense.
Yeah, who
I
did they
can't remember
go
that.
through?
I can't remember who they got in the quarters, but it was an easy game in the quarters, and then they
Oh
ran
no,
into the Gremlins in the semis, and then they got smashed by Power.
so they beat KCP
Oh,
in
sorry. Yeah, they beat
so
KCP.
that so they upset that. I actually called that as well. So they upset them a little bit. I guess you
That's
could
my
call
bad.
them upset.
That's not a cruisy bracket, but I think
No,
like
that's
to
a
get
good
to I
win.
would say to get to the finals, like if they had to play Kaka's Minions instead, I feel like they would have lost instead of. Do you know what I mean? I don't know,
Yeah.
but I don't know. The Chiefs, they've just been on and off. They could pop off. They definitely like they could make the major, but I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
In fourth, you've got the Chiefs, so you think they're making the semis?
I think their seeding will allow them to. I think
Mm.
they'll come up against someone like a Ground Zero or someone like who else is in here?
See, if they come up against a GZ, I actually have GZ winning that game. That's the difference there.
Yeah, see, I feel like the Chiefs, like the super lucky factor is real. I feel like
Okay.
they definitely like I agree with you. They're definitely out of those top four teams a little bit weaker, in
Yeah.
my opinion, and they can be hot and cold. But I think when everything's on the line, they're kind of proven they can do it. I
Yeah.
think that series that they lost to Gremlins in that first regional isn't necessarily indicative of where that team is necessarily at.
Okay.
So I definitely think they're better than probably what you're rating, but they're not necessarily. So that's why I'm going to put them top four. I don't know. It's a bit of a gut feeling again. I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
well, you've got them bottom
You're,
of the top four, so it's like you know what I mean.
yeah.
You're just saying
I easily rate the teams above them way more than I do
yeah,
them there.
exactly. You're just saying them they're gonna make it through the quarters, but if you got them in fourth, they're kind of bombing out in the semi, or like the
Yes.
worst team out of the semis. So that's fair.
And it's more of a case. I don't necessarily think they're the fourth best team, so I agree with you. I think Ground Zero are playing better at the moment,
Yeah,
but I think it's more. I at least when I'm trying to do my predictions, I try
the
to
way the
predict
bracket works. Yeah,
the way the bracket will work.
yeah.
So that's just my gut feeling with that.
In third, we've gone the same here. KCP.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I think that just about states where they're at the moment. Uh,
Yeah,
like they're a great
I don't
team.
think.
Obviously, they got upset by the Chiefs, but that they still deserve to be put up there.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to slip up again like last regional.
Yeah,
I think they'll lock in. They know what they need to do, and they'll do everything to get that top two. But
and all three of them been to land, so they know
of
they have
course,
that experience.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
so number two, you've got Kaka's
Yep.
Minions.
Yes, sir.
I love it.
Carcass
I
minions
love it. You know why?
making major.
You know why I love it? Because I got
Why?
Kaka's Minions at number one, baby. Number
Oh,
one.
they're going all the
They're
way.
going all the way, baby. They're beating
They're
Power
beating
in the
power.
final. They're going to freaking. Oh my gosh! Don't forget the name. Copenhagen. Copenhagen. They're going. They're going to the major. They're going to perform at the major. Top eight, probably not. Power's more likely, but they're going to the major.
That's wow. That's a ballsy pick.
I
I
know.
love it.
I know. But
I love the confidence.
you say you have them going to the major too, but if they finish second, I don't think they make it.
I think they do because okay. Correct me if I'm wrong. Don't you get 4 extra points for making grand final? I think you do.
No.
And that, how
I
many points do you get for making grand final compared to making
I
semis?
think they just have first is 16, second is 12, third to fourth is 9.
Oh, it's 3 points.
Yeah, so it's a
Okay.
3-point difference. So with my prediction, I'm having them win it all. There's no tiebreaker for the major. Kaka's Minions
Oh,
are in. They just clutch
just
up
straight in. They
and they
clutched up.
win. Yeah, and they beat Power and they go to the major. But obviously, if they do come second, like your prediction, there's probably going to
It would
be
be
a
a
playoff.
tiebreaker.
Yeah, there's going to
It
be a
would be a
tiebreaker.
tiebreaker. That is fascinating if that happens.
I
That would
think,
be, according to my predictions, that would be a 3-way tiebreaker as well.
yep, very
That
well
would
could
be
be.
absolutely insane.
Yep. What do
If
they
you're in
do in a
Power's
three-breaker?
position, I don't know. I think they do like the lowest on game differential versus the second lowest on game
Yeah,
differential,
and
and then
then the
whoever
winner
wins
that
that
plays. Yep.
versus the best game differential. That's wacky. But if you're Power versus Kaka's Minions in that grand final,
Yeah.
do you throw on purpose or do you force them to be to go tiebreakers?
Well, you never
Like-
throw on purpose. First of
No,
all,
of course. But
but
like,
if Kaka's think about it, Kaka's minion, they get into that game and they're like, power like, sweet, we're here again. You know what I mean? We're chilling.
mm,
But Kaka's minions are like, boys, this is it. This is for the major. Like, let's
yeah,
lock in. We can
yeah,
beat power, and then they get that confidence and they ride it, and it's the best OC series of all time. And Kaka's minions, they come out on top. Ooh,
mm,
4-2, 4-2. I'm calling it right here. 4-2. Kaka's minions win in the final. They make it to
4-2.
LAN. I'm getting on it. I'm
Yeah,
getting on it. I am a Kaka's minion. I am a minion. Let's go.
you're
Get
a
around
minion.
him.
I
Get
love that.
around him.
I absolutely love that.
All right. Oh, well, that was very interesting that we both think Kaka's minions, we're riding them all the way. On the Bangers
All
and
the way,
Clangers
baby.
podcast, we're riding them all the way. Let's go.
Don't
Let's,
disappoint us, please.
yeah, literally. Don't make us look silly.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to some EU. We all love EU, and boy, oh boy, what an open qualifier it was.
Yeah, wow. EU always, like, even if it's not the highest quality always, and it is high quality usually, it always delivers in some weird and wacky way, doesn't it?
It really does. It really, really does. So I've got on screen now. We're just going to go a bit of a recap. Obviously, we had the Swiss stage. So for those of you who are listening, not watching, your ones who got bombed out on the Swiss stage were Top Cougars, Belagol, Fast Forward Drive, Team 3, who actually had a lot higher. They really did not impress me at all. Oda was kind of expected. Endpoint, Kalante, and Hosky. Not really many surprises there, is there?
No, I think we were all generally on the mark. One interesting one was Endpoint coming in 14th. They only won
Yeah.
one series, and they weren't competitive,
I
which
think
was
I
surprising.
think for me, Team 3 and Endpoint, they're the two that I
Yeah.
had wrong, and Redemption and Saar. I had Saar in 9th, so I didn't have him bombing out. I had him just missing. But you were right. They were going all the way, beating
They were
Vitality
going away.
3-1.
Not right. They didn't even scrape through Swiss. They came
They
third.
obliterated Swiss.
Obliterated. They beat Vitality 3-1. Not even close.
You can't tell me that Saturday afternoon you're just thinking, I might be the smartest man in Rocket League at the moment.
Oh, I am the smartest person ever. I know it. All my predictions are correct. I know it. Absolutely.
So then we moved into the single elimination bracket, and
Yep.
Saar got upset by Magnifico 4-3.
Massive upset. Massive upset. Magnifico got lucky.
Honestly, I would call that an upset. The way that Saar were going, that was a bit
Yeah.
of an upset.
It was.
That was probably the series of the day, though, to be honest.
It was, and no one was expecting that to be. Everybody thought the K Corp Vitality series
Yeah,
was
or
going
the
to be
BDS
a hype one.
Gentlemates.
Gentlemates, but no, they fell flat.
Yeah, they did. So what went wrong for? Obviously, we've all analysed Vitality. They're on a bit of a downtrend. KC obviously flying. So everyone's analysed this game. What happened to Gentlemates? Because we thought they were going to challenge BDS.
Well, I think you did. I had them out at quarters, and it wasn't necessarily because they're a bad team or anything. I just thought they did really well, obviously, in the first regional. I didn't think they were. I thought they were going to get unlucky in the quarterfinals with their seeding.
And
They
that's what
obviously
happened.
came eighth. That's exactly what happened because they came eighth in Swiss, because they lost to Oxygen. So that's on them. And this BDS squad stepped up and made them look a little second rate, which was definitely a bit of a surprise.
They did make him look second rate. That's a great way to put it. And then moving forward in the semi-finals was really we kind of already knew what was going to happen there, didn't we?
Yeah, I think the two teams who made it got. It's not really a Mickey run. The teams they versed were ones that were both pretty hot, but
I would say before the qualifier 2, you would put Magnifico over SAR, and then you'd put obviously Oxygen over Redemption. So they had the least
Yeah.
Mickey run that they could have had, but they're just better.
Yeah, of course. But
the final though, that didn't disappoint.
No, that was absolutely fantastic. Ended in OT. Got the
Oh,
drama as well. That was
how
awesome.
good was BDS's goal late game 7? That was. I didn't know who I was barracking for. I'm not gonna lie to you. I did not know who I was going for because I was like, "Oh, BDS are losing. Please score." And then Carmen Corp, you're losing now. You score. I was like,
Yeah, it was so back and forth. Yeah.
it was one of the best series, at least in a regional, that I've ever watched. I was so glad that I didn't, because you know how you can sometimes get sucked into checking the score and you kind of ruin it for yourself. I didn't check the score. I watched this whole single elim the whole way through, and I was not disappointed. Yeah, EU putting on a show, which was fantastic. Yeah. Look, I just want to quickly go back to the standings of Europe. Just have one more quick look because I need to really wrap my head around this. So Magnifico and Gentlemates are in. Vitality is out.
Yep.
Okay, and Oxygen have a chance. Interesting. Yeah,
It is
I
very
think
interesting.
if obviously from that first qualifying, it's easy to say, but if EU were sending their strongest four, it would definitely be KC, BDS, Gentlemates, and Vitality.
Mm. But wouldn't it be crazy if one of those top 4 teams ran into each other in the quarters? Say
Oh,
Vitality runs into K Corp again
oh yeah,
or
they're done.
BDS.
They're done.
They're done. They're out. They're out instantly.
They've
No,
got to have a
no
good Swiss.
Vitality on land. No Vitality on land. Just imagine that.
That's what they call in Australia a premiership hangover, is what they call that.
It is. Absolutely.
You follow footy, yeah? That's grouse.
Yeah.
Maybe we should
Yeah. It's
do
great.
low key a footy podcast too. Uh,
Yeah.
all right, let's
Do it.
move to NA. So unfortunately, this is the last main event for a legend of the game, Squishy Muffins.
It is. What an absolute legend.
Yeah, I mean, I did do a player spotlight on him a couple of episodes ago, but you got to bring it back up. Just the amount that he has done for this game as a whole, and especially the esports scene.
Yeah, he's produced some absolutely iconic moments. Obviously, everybody thinks about the ceiling shot, them winning worlds.
Yeah,
Literally made a doco on that. Like it, he's done so much for this game in general. And you hear all these pros saying, oh, I remember when I was watching Squishy's videos. Oh, I looked up to Squishy. I wanted to be just like Squishy. And everybody can admit that they've watched a Squishy video
yeah,
here or there. They've definitely always tuned into it. Always, you can't tell me you didn't watch his video on how to wall dash when
yeah.
that was a thing. You can't say
And the
that.
wave
So,
dashes, yeah.
and the wave dash is everything. So, he's an absolute legend of the game, and I wish him the best in this last qualifier for the Muffin Men, and also in the future.
Yeah, and I wanted to quickly bring this up. What's your opinion on this? I know he's content creating for Rule 1 now.
Yes.
Definitely should go check that out if you haven't already. But I would love to see, I said this in my player spotlight, I wanted to get your opinion. I would love to see him step up into like an RL esports, like be the director of the esport.
Of the esport as a whole. Do you
Yeah, so
reckon?
he would be
Hmm.
like the president of Rocket League esports. He would make decisions on things like seeding, things like the formats, all those kind of the rules, I
Hmm.
guess you could say. What do you think about that take?
I think that would be cool. I don't necessarily know him personally, so I don't know
Mm,
if he would want to do that,
yeah,
or he's that kind of person. But it's certainly an interesting idea.
because he
The
has had
cynic
a
in
lot of
me said,
opinions in the past about how it should be run, or like and obviously he's been
"Yeah,
a pro
that's
player.
true. Yeah, that's definitely true. Get him, get Farah in as well with his recent comments. Get them to run it."
Yeah, well, I don't know. It just seems people aren't happy at the moment, and it feels like something's something big has to happen, and I feel like if they just went, Squishy is now in charge of Rocket League Esports, formatting, seeding, all the important bits and pieces. The pros would be ecstatic because he'd know how to treat them. The fans would be ecstatic because it's Squishy. I don't know. I feel like that could be a cool thing, but maybe in another realm.
Yeah, I think if I was Blast, I would definitely try to do that. That would be a great business move in my opinion.
Yeah.
You
No,
get the community on your side for once.
yeah, for once. Something they've been struggling to do for 3 years.
3 years, yeah. Well,
Can G2 be dethroned?
in North America, not this split. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, they're just looking too strong, aren't they?
They're looking too strong. I think in the second split, possibly. If Gen G figure it out, if they have a great LAN and the vibes are going great,
They've just got to
absolutely.
figure them out.
They've just got to figure it out. Even like an LG or M80, my team, M80. What a team. Hopefully, maybe one day they'll beat G2, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yes, we shall see. Oh wait, where am I? Am I in the? Okay, sorry, I'm just getting it up for our ins and outs in NA. So why is that still on OCE? Okay, North America. Let's have a look.
Mm-hmm.
Only a couple changes in NA, which is good to see. Their region's a bit more stable than ours.
Yep.
So G Buffo out, the Muffin Men in, Akron University out, Boulevard in, and oh no, not lastly, Incorrect out, and the Snowmen in, and
Yep.
I think, oh no, there's 5 changes. Maybe they're not as
Yeah.
consistent. Dude, the open qualifier is just like, damn, it's ruthless. It's ruthless, isn't it?
Yeah. You got
Um,
like Snowman, you got the Muffin Man,
and
you got
Young Whippersnappers, Shopify
Whippersnappers.
Rebellion in.
Shopify Rebellion is. I'm glad they made it back. They're obviously a top team. They may well make top 8. We'll have to see, obviously.
And then
But
leftovers and deleted out. So that's
yep.
your teams going. I don't know why that's not like that. See that? Those little things. Oh, there we go. Now we got a clean slate. There's only one team in here without a logo, which is kind of crazy. You don't usually see that. All right, now that we know what teams are in and out, let's head into our top 16 predictions. So,
Let's do
at
it.
16, I've got Boulevard, and you
Yep.
have Boulevard.
Yeah.
Not really any surprises there, is there?
No, they've. It's great that they've made it, but
Yeah.
in my opinion, this is the most stacked NA qualifier there is. All these teams
Yeah.
outside of Boulevard have made this qual before.
This is what the
So
main event
they
was supposed to be every time, basically.
every time. So this is going to be very hard for them. So that's why I'm at 16.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you say, yeah, they're a solid team, but yeah, it's just a very stacked main event, which we're all keen for.
Absolutely.
Let's see, who have we got at 15? I've got Young Whippersnappers, and you got the Muffin Men not winning a game. Squishy doesn't. Oh no! Why are you
so
done my
badly
man's like this? You can't.
I so badly wanted them to win a series. Trust me, they'll go 3-2 against NRG. They'll trust me, they'll do it, right? I would love to see them win a game. Prove me wrong, Muffin, then please. I just think realistically, the teams above them, they're
It's
either
class. It's
too
class.
strong or they've been there for too long.
Yeah.
But hey, Squishy, do one more time, please.
Well, I've got him doing it one more time. Unfortunately, Young Whippersnappers, kind of the same story as Boulevard. It's just stacked main event. Stacked main event.
That's a big call though. Actually, I'm surprised you rate them that low.
I don't
I'm
know.
interested in that.
It just
They made round 5 in the first qualifier.
they did, but I don't know. Something tells me that they were just peaking. There's something about Open Qualifier 3 that screams experience and, you know, just those teams that should be better will be better. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I respect that, definitely.
All right, let's head into number 14. We've got the
Mm-hmm.
Snowmen taking one series, and you have TSM. Wow.
Yes, it's a big
Wow.
call. It's
That
a big call.
that's yeah, that's kind of crazy. Talk me through your reasoning behind this move.
TSM are a much better team than that pick indicates. However, I think this is the most stacked regional in NA. I think they're going to get beaten by a lot of those teams, like the Space Stations, like the Pirates. Teams that have come in, like Shopify, are going to, and Dig, are going to beat them, unfortunately. And
Okay.
that's going to drop them pretty quickly into that 0-2. And I don't see them recovering further than round 4, unfortunately, which is a shame because I actually rate this team.
Yeah, that's fair. Like I think we're going to be saying that for a lot of these bottoms. Just like it's no disrespect to any of these teams because they are all great players, but the class of the teams above them are just it's a different level, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Snowman for me, I think being out of the last, if they had made the last qualifiers, they'd be higher on my list. But because they
Mhm.
didn't make it in Open Qualifier 2, I just think it's going to be a bit more bouncy for them than it would have been. If this was their third one in a row, I'd probably have them at 10. But
Yeah.
they haven't shown that consistency yet, and they haven't shown that upset potential. So that's why they're staying down there for me.
Fair pick.
I got the Muffin Men coming in at 13, and you've
Getting
got
the win.
NRG.
We've got
Yes,
NRG.
Squishy gets his win as he deserves, as he will. He can't
Yep.
not win a series in his last main event. It's going to happen. The team stream's going to be going off on CJ's team stream. We're going to be getting
Mhm.
around him. But NRG, once again, disappoint their fans, Moldy. What is going on here?
Yeah, they're in the same boat as TSM for me. I think they got the mickiest bracket possible to a top 8
Yeah,
last
that's
qualifier.
facts. That's
They
facts.
are like it's outrageous. They versed incorrect. They've somehow 3-0'd an LG that was like sleeping. It was stupid. It was dead stupid.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to get that again. I know they have Pirates in the first round. I personally would say they lose that series as well.
Oh, yeah.
So
Same here.
they
Same.
yeah, so they're in the same boat as TSM. They should be better. They're not, and I think they'll take a series, but ultimately they're going to drop too low too quickly to
Yeah.
get that top 8.
And just with that Pirates as well, I think that will be a 3-0. I don't think NRG even get a sniff in that one. I don't know what the plan is for the split 2 for NRG, but they're going to pull
And probably another roster move.
probably something crazy. That's what they've been doing all year, so why not just do it again? I mean, fans
Yeah,
can't get any more disappointed, right?
yeah, no,
Did they make every open qual? Did they make
yeah.
this?
They've
Well,
made
they've
everyone.
got that going for them, you know.
They've got that. Yeah, no.
At least you
Garrett's
get to
not
watch
dropping
them
out.
in
Don't worry.
Swiss.
Don't
All
worry.
right, NRG fans, don't be too harsh. You get to watch them in Swiss. All right, Shopify fans didn't even get to watch every Swiss. Okay,
Yeah.
you got a good thing going. All right, let's see. I've got NRG. Same story as you.
Yeah.
And young whippersnappers still oh, they're taking one series compared to me not taking a
Yeah.
series at all. So you're going to taking a series. Is it late? Is it early? Are they going in the 1-1 and then kind of bombing out from there? What's?
Yeah, I feel like that's the kind of thing. They'll win that second or third series just randomly.
Yep.
Um, I think they're in the same boat as the Snowmen, where they're all really young players and
Mhm.
they'll all randomly peak out of nowhere.
Mm.
And last event, they were taking a lot of these top teams like real close.
Yeah.
Like I go, they beat NRG 3-2. They what do you call it? Went 3-1 against Space Station, which is respectable.
Yeah.
And then they beat who else did they beat? They beat the Snowmen 3-2, which is interesting. So they've got that potential there, but then randomly they can lose to these top teams really badly. Like they got 3-0'd by Gen G and Pirates. So that's kind of like it shows they're a young and inconsistent team. So I
Yeah.
think one win for them is fair because that just accounts for them randomly peak in one series.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I completely agree with that take. Even though I do have him not winning a series, I can definitely see him winning one, especially after their great performance by their standards in that other main event.
Mhm.
Let's see who we got. Omelette. Dignitas bombing out for a second time in the Swiss.
Yep,
Back to back.
back to back.
You
The
think
honeymoon's
RC you
over.
think RC Baby's letting that happen? Are
The
you
RC
joking?
baby. The honeymoon is over.
No
I'm sorry.
way.
I had to do it. I look. I see two routes for this team. I can see them just randomly making top 8 out of nowhere, right? I
Yeah.
can see them just regaining and looking like that first qual Dignitas. But the Dignitas that I saw last qual was a completely different Dignitas. The
Yeah.
RC baby had grown into an RC man. He'd grown all old,
He's looking
and
slow.
Gyro didn't even recognize who his friend was anymore.
Oh
That
no.
chemistry it just wasn't there. And I think they could go to what do you call it, round 5. I think they definitely can, but like some of these top teams like the Pirates and Space Station, I currently rate over Dignitas. The way I saw them last regional, it scared me. It scared me for Dignitas. So that's why I'm putting them low, which is a
Well,
bold
I'm
pick.
a Dig fan, so stuff you. That's all I
Oh,
have to say.
I was a Dig fan. I love
On,
Dig.
on
I put
behalf of
Dig
the
top
big,
4.
on behalf of the Dig fans, stuff you, Moldy. I got Omelette.
I'll be right.
They're taking. Is it 2 series at that point or 1 at
2.
11th?
Yes, you have them. Yep, you have 2.
Yes, I rate this team. As I said
Yep.
previously, I really do rate them. Um, and they came 10th in the Swiss, you know, last regional. I think that's about where they sit, even though it is a bit more stacked. I still think that's where they sit. I think they're a good team, and they can take some high quality opposition to game fives and really put them in some difficult spots. So, yeah.
Yep. No, that's definitely a fair pick.
All right, TSM in at number 10, and the Snowmen peaking. I would say that that's peaking for them. You've got the Snowmen absolutely peaking on the Swiss.
I think they were unlucky in that first qual not to make it. To be brutally honest with you, if
Mm,
they were a little more experienced, they had a couple more events in them, they were beating that Shopify squad that ended up going top 4.
yeah.
So they were close. And as I said with young whippersnappers, this team is young, inexperienced, so they'll randomly peak on their day, and then they randomly will just lose these series. But I think Snowmen I'd rate above mainly because of that Shopify series, because they almost reverse swept them, and that said a bit to me.
Yep.
And I think they can definitely make it to that round 5. I'm looking at who they have first. So they have Gen G first, so that's not going to help them.
No, that does not
But
help them at all.
that does not help. That does not help them at all. But in every single series that the Snowmen played, they went to game 5, except for plot twist. They almost beat G2,
Mm.
right? That's what we're dealing with here, right? So I definitely think they can make that
Are
round
G2
5
really
again.
playing their best Rocket League in the Swiss, though? Are they
That's
really?
true, but
Are they
you
really
shouldn't be
pulling?
going game 5 with the Snowmen. You shouldn't be going game 5.
Mm, yeah, I don't know.
1-0 in Champion Field. It wasn't even dominant.
I can see the hopium. I can see the hopium for the Snowmen. I rate
I don't see them
I rate
making
the
top
call.
8.
I rate the call that they're gonna
Yeah.
peak. I rate the call, but yeah, I don't know. I just go squishy. That's all I'm gonna say. Uh, TSM number 10 for me. I just think they're a really good team. I think they deserve to win a couple series. You know, they were the big talk in the preseason. I think it might have got on their nerve a little bit, but after 6 weeks now, I think they'll start to calm down and really just hone back in onto what they know and you know, kind of I guess restart that grind because they know they're not making the major um, so they'll restart that grind onto looking at Split 2 and looking at how they can make Worlds. And I think if they shift their mind to that and just focus on playing good Rocket League, they'll refine that kind of form and where they're at.
Yep, definitely.
All right. So just missing out, I have Shopify in at 9,
wow.
and you've got Omelette.
Big call with Shopify.
Shopify missing. I know. I wouldn't
Ready.
say, like, if you look at my top 8, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a big call.
No, I agree. It's stacked. So I respect, Shopify going out is definitely a real possibility. So I respect it.
Obviously, from what we can see, the only difference we kind of have outside of the 8 is Shopify and Dig. So, I think, like, if you're putting Dignitas ahead of Shopify, it's not really, like, I don't know. I just feel like them missing that last qual, I think it's a big deal because you're not getting that consistency, if
Yeah.
that makes sense, or that same high level of practice. They're going to be coming into a Swiss for the first time in 4 weeks, and when you come up to that level of play, it's like oh wow, we're here, we're in it. Like, this is, like, obviously they're used to that high play, Justin and all that, but I could just see them being a very choppy throughout the Swiss. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with that take, definitely.
And Omelette just missing. They just not good enough to make top 8, are they, in this?
They are honestly on the cusp of it.
Yeah, they're on the cusp, but not for this qualifier.
No, but they've shown last event they did very well.
Yeah.
They they beat Dig, right? And they won against Delete XD, which was in 3-0, so that was very convincing.
Yeah.
But the thing that showed me that this team, is consistent, is actually a bit of a real deal, is because they were taking games off G2s, Gen Gs, LGs, all these top teams, right?
Yep.
Any other team in their positions who are around them are just getting 3-0'd in that scenario, right?
Yeah.
Not even close. And they were actually playing respectable Rocket League in all those matches. So, and they went round 5 last time. I expect them to do exactly the same. And their first round matchup is against the young whippersnappers. I think they win that.
Yeah.
Omelette.
It's a good start.
Personally. So it's a good start, and I think it sets up round 5 for them.
Absolutely. All right, jumping into the top 8, I've got Space Station at number 8, and you've got OG. So obviously these 2 teams finishing 8th, they don't make the major.
Yeah.
Like pretty much every team we're talking from now onwards we're talking about major teams or in contention for the major. So each team that we pop out is like, you don't have making the major. So why is OG not making the major?
OG, I think they look like they've turned it around. I'm not 100% convinced though. I want to see it twice. I don't think they'll have as easy a Swiss run.
Yeah.
And I think they got very lucky that they ran into M80 in that quarterfinal. That was a bogey matchup between those 2 teams. That matchup was a lot closer than people thought. Just on paper, it's a play style clash. So that favored OG quite a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll happen again. And I think OG, if they come up against a team like Luminosity or a Space Station, which are way more consistent, they're losing those matches. They'll go close, but they'll lose those matches. Yep. That's why I have them in an 8th.
No, that's more than fair enough. Space Station for me, kind of the same deal. I just think they'll come up against. They have been playing very consistent Rocket League, and I do rate what they're trying to build there. I just don't think it's ready to go yet. I just don't think
they've gotten very unlucky, to be fair. In both playoffs for both quals, they've come up against Gen G twice because of their seeding. They've been that best team out of those 4-1 teams. They've finished in that 5th seed every single time, but because of that, they keep coming up against Gen G.
Yeah.
So it's it's actually kind of unlucky for them. Because if they came up against a Luminosity or a Shopify, hey, maybe they would go further. Maybe they would go to semis.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing is losing best of sevens as well can start to play a toll. You start to go on a bit of a downward trend. But
Mm.
I don't know. They are consistent. They just don't have that spark for me. I don't know
I
what it
agree with that.
is, but they just don't. They don't have that thing that can take them to the major.
Mhm.
In at 7, I've got Luminosity,
Oh wow,
and you
huge.
got Pirates on a Boat.
Boo.
Bit of
I-
I would say this is clash of the century in prediction terms.
Yeah,
I'll st-
look. I'm gonna throw it
you
at
gonna
you.
start? Are you gonna throw it to me?
No,
I'll
no, yeah.
start.
Explain the
Luminosity.
luminosity pick, please.
It,
They go second, make grand finals, and you
Luminosity.
put them in at 7.
Luminosity have been struggling in Swiss this whole split. This whole split, they've just been making it out, and I think this is the time where they just make it out again because they're not a Swiss team. The way they play is vulnerable in a Swiss setting, and I reckon they're gonna come 6th or 7th out of Swiss and just play a team in the quarters. There's just gonna be more ready and more ready to go, and they're not gonna beat them. I don't think it matters who they play. I just think there's going to be a better team in the quarters that's going to knock them out. And you know, they 5th to 8th is 6 points, I believe. So they've still got enough points to make the major potentially. We'll see what we have to come. But
With 5 to 8, maybe we'll see.
but yeah, I just don't think they win the quarter matchup. I think they get a bad seeding out of Swiss. Like I said, they've been inconsistent there, and then just play a better team and lose.
Mm.
Why you got Pirates on a boat at 7? That's pretty fair. Like
It's pretty fair.
that's about their mark.
Yeah, I think they'll
But
do good.
but they have been getting better each qualifier.
Well, their first qualifier, they came up against a peaking Dignitas, and they went 4-2 with that, and there were 4 OTs in that series. So I think, they're a really good competitive team, and then they came up against G2, which is, always tough.
But they
And
played
went on
well
plus-
against G2 though.
They did. So I think they're 100% a top 8 team, and they're great. Because of that, it's just kind of hard to see them going like a 4-1 or not coming up against one of those top teams in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's just going to be really hard. Hey, if they make semifinals, if they make the major, it would be one of the greatest stories I've ever heard of the Chiefs making it. It would be incredible, wouldn't it?
Well,
it would be incredible.
I hope you're getting excited because I am. Because
Yeah,
I may or may not be on the boat. OG
Whoa.
and Shopify in at number 6.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty fair. I mean, making 8, losing the quarters, but
Yeah.
not losing too badly. But it's kind of the same old deal, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, I agree with your take earlier with Shopify, how they're going to be choppy through Swiss.
Yep.
But I think they'll make it into that top 8.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, because they're choppy in Swiss, they'll come up against a Gen G or G2. And unfortunately, they're going to lose that match, in my opinion.
That's kind of what I'm thinking about Luminosity too.
Yeah, that's fair. That's definitely fair.
Kind of the same thing then. OG, I think when push comes to shove, there's just teams that are better,
Yep.
There's just teams that are better, that are more hardened and ready to really have a crack at the major spot, and will be wanting it a little bit. I wouldn't say wanting it more. I think every player equally wants it the same amount. But I don't know. I just feel like when the heat's on and the pressure's on, OG, their play style seems to kind of fall apart. But in saying that, they did change it up last qualifier. It seemed to work, so maybe they've got a new plan coming into this one, and they could prove everyone wrong.
Yeah, would love to see it.
In at number 5, we have M80 and Space Station. So Moldy, Space Station, number 5. They're doing pretty good.
They're doing pretty good. I think out of those quarterfinal teams, they look The strongest, I don't necessarily think they had the highest peak. I think, like you, like you were saying, they lack a bit of spark
Yeah.
for me. But they're such a solid team. Like,
Yeah.
they haven't slipped up once in Swiss at
Yeah.
all. So it's very easy to put them in that top 8. I think, again, though, they're gonna get on, like, I was really conflicted about this one, which is why I put them at 5, because I think surely they don't come up against a Gen G again. Surely you don't come up against Gen
Yeah.
G
Like you can't have the
right?
unlucky bracket that many times in
You
a row.
can't have the unlucky bracket. So my mind was thinking, okay, let's say they don't. They'll come up against an M80 or they'll come up against a Luminosity, and in those matches, I think they go extremely close. But I rate those other teams just a little bit higher because they have that spark. So that's why I had them 5, because I think they're going to go really close in that quarterfinals match, but they won't quite do it. But I could see them making top 4 if they get the right matchup. I
Yeah.
100% could.
Definitely. I could definitely see a world where they make top 4. I'm definitely more on the negative side of that. I don't like. I think they're the worst out of the top 8 in my opinion. But
Yeah.
like they have been proving me wrong all split, so they could do it again for sure. And I got M80 just losing in the quarters.
Yeah.
Consistency is key, and they've lost in the quarters every time, so I've just got them doing it again.
The Swiss merchants
Swiss
can't do
merchants.
playoffs. They are.
Uh,
Jurius is a Swiss merchant.
in number 4, Gen G. Interesting.
Yeah, bold call from
Interesting.
him. Yep. I think they'll get on the same bracket as G2 again, and I think they'll get smashed again.
I
It's,
I think the same thing.
yeah.
I think the exact same thing, which is
Yeah.
why I've got them at number 3. I think they're going to match up against G2, and yeah, they won't be able to get the job done. I've got Dignitas coming in 4th. I think they deserve to make the major. I want them to make the major, and they're that team that is just going. I want to see they're going to represent NA really well, if that makes sense. I just think that the way they play is good. They're exciting, and when they're gelling and when they're on, they can create something special.
Absolutely. But it should be interesting to see if they bring that back after a rough second qualifier. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
So obviously you've got Luminosity
We
actually
do.
coming in 3rd, so they're a lock for the major in your eyes. So obviously I've got Dignitas, they're 4th at the moment, so they're locked in if they come 4th here. So you got
Yep.
Luminosity locked in. You think that they're just
I think they'll make it. I think they will make it because I
they
think
definitely deserve to.
they deserve to. They've put themselves in a good position, and I think if they verse teams like Space Station or a Shopify or a Pirates,
Yep.
I think they're winning those matchups. The fact that they've made grand finals now showed to me that they can definitely they're definitely in that top 4 contention, and they're very, I think they'll make the major personally.
Yeah.
So that's why I have them making semis
All right.
personally.
I can't contain myself anymore.
Yeah, do
Ladies and
it.
gentlemen, we're on the boat. Come on, Pirates. Yes, they are losing in the grand finals to G2, but they still make it. They make the major. Luminosity are out. Dignitas in. Get around the boys. Get on the boat, ladies and gentlemen. They're going all the way.
Wow, get on the boat.
Get on the
That's
boat.
incredible.
They verse NRG. They're going to sweep them. They're going to be in great position for the Swiss. I see them coming out 2nd in the Swiss. I think they're going to go 3-0. They're going to go 3-0 in the Swiss. They're going to beat, who should I say? They're going to beat Gen G in the 3rd round of the Swiss to go 3-0. Then Gen G go on to G2 side of the bracket. They get eliminated. They play Dignitas in the semis and win.
Wow, wait.
And they make the major. That's it, baby. And Luminosity losing the quarters and they don't make it on points. That's how my prediction's going. I know it's a bit out there, but
It's a bold call.
it's
Bold call.
a bold call. But I'm on the boat. Every single qualifier, these guys have improved and improved and improved, and I've been harping on about it since episode bloody 2 on this podcast. Coaching is the way forward, and Archie's our Chiefs has got this team up and about, and they are just going to be firing. They get better every time, and this is going to be no exception. They're going to shoot through the ceiling.
Yeah, I want to see a cheese and land. That would be incredible. But that is, I love it. I don't know what to say. You've left me speechless. I'm just gonna say I love it. I love it.
Yeah. What a doco you could make, honestly.
I could. But I'm just putting it out there now. I'm doing that.
If it happens, and you need to have this part on the doco too.
Absolutely, this is gonna
where
be
Pez calls it.
Yeah.
And then, let's talk about M80. M80.
Yes.
They're making the major if they come second. Are they not?
Hey, yes, they are.
Get around the boys.
Yes. I live and die by this team. I've been harping on about this team the whole split.
Yep.
They've disappointed me both times.
But this is their time.
This is their time. They can't do it 3 times. There's no way.
Yeah.
They've got to win. They've got to win it a quarterfinal at least once. Even if they make just semis, they're making the major. They're making the major off that.
So M80 beating Luminosity or Gen G? Because in the way my bracket would work, and you said G2 are knocking out Gen G, so they beat Luminosity, obviously.
Yep. Yeah, so Luminosity, Gen G, and G2 are all going to be on the same side of the bracket.
Yep.
And G2 is going to get out of that bracket. And then on the other side of your bracket, you're going to have a Shopify, you're going to have a Space Station, and you're going to have M80. Or maybe like a Pirates or OG. I don't think OG. I think OG will be on G2 side. Let's say Pirates, Shopify, Space Station, and M80. And I think out of all those 4 teams, I personally rate M80 the highest.
Yeah.
That's just my call, right? A lot of this call, it's a very risky call because it relies a lot on M80 becoming first in the bracket.
In Swiss.
Because if they don't, in Swiss, sorry. Yeah. If they don't come first, then they'll 100% be on G2 side of the bracket, and they'll 100% at minimum lose in the semis.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bold call, but
it is a bold call. The Pirates is a bold call too, though. So we're both just having a crack here.
Yeah, but my logic is that they should at least make semis. They're not losing another quarterfinal. They're not, enough of this. Oh, we came up against OG. Their play styles clash. Oh, we came up against.
Doesn't matter. Just beat them.
None of that.
Just beat them.
We're going to beat them this time. We're going to beat them.
Absolutely.
Because I rate this team highly. And if I'm wrong about this, I'm never rating this team again. I'm just putting it out there. I'm going to actually label them as switch merchants. I'm getting off the M80 hype. If we, don't make it past quarters again, I'm not going to rate them ever again.
And he loves his team too, guys. He loves his team.
I love this team. I'm getting off the M80 hype if they don't do this.
And obviously G2, the best team in the world at the moment, they're winning it.
Winning 3.
Winning 3 in a row.
Yep.
You can't deny them. I mean,
no. If a team had taken them to 7 or 6, I would, I think otherwise. But nope, it's been 4 1s and 4 0s the whole way.
And the major's a different story, and there could definitely be teams in NA that could overpass them there.
Yep.
But as of right now, on home soil, they're undefeated, unbeatable. So
on another level.
Absolutely. All right, well, that wraps it up for NA, and that about wraps up the podcast. Anything you want to say, Moldy? Do you want to plug, you have a new video that's out?
Yeah, I have a new video on the YouTube, so definitely check that out. What do you call it? Rocket League's Greatest What If. So definitely, if you love documentaries, if you love Rocket League, if you love a bit of RLCS, definitely check that out.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, we have no special guest this week, but that's okay. I'm obviously aiming for one every week, but with full-time work and everything, it is hard to get one every week, especially just starting out. So I do apologize. But until next time, Rocket League fans, keep scoring those bangers and regretting those clangers. Keep boost stealing and supporting our beloved game of Rocket League. I'll catch you next Thursday live on Twitch again, or wherever you catch the podcast, YouTube, Spotify, whatever. But yeah, I've been your host, Pez, signing off on the Bangers and Clangers pod.